banner. I like it.
Thank you. I put minimal effort into it.
No, I like it. It's good. I like the Game Boy on the right, if that's what it is.
Yeah, stage right or
stage? No, yeah. The right that I'm seeing. It looks like. Is it a memory card for a Dreamcast? Actually,
could be.
It looks like it. It can't. Let's just say it's that.
Let's just commit. That's what it is. On with the show.
Hooray!
I happen to love the number 5.
I have to speak up. I'm wearing it home.
Mama, you're naked.
Stop looking at me, Swan!
You have until the count of 5.
Welcome to the Got Till 5 Wrestling Podcast. I'm going to introduce it this week because I never get to do that, and I thought I would make a nice. No, I didn't. No, I said wrestling. Yeah, okay. All right, edit. Let's bring it back. Live? What? Welcome to the Got Till 5 podcast. My name is Jesse Patrick Benz. I am joined by Maxwell Arthur Curtin. And Max has had a very hard day today. He's been working non-stop. So I've decided to take the lead. And it's all my doing. He's actually got a takeaway under the desk right now that he's eating. He's broken his rule of broadcasting. He never eats when we're broadcasting, but he is this week. So how are you feeling, Max?
12 years of not eating on screen or in a microphone, and here I am.
It's a very special day.
Breaking the rules. I'm good. That was very weird for you to introduce. I wish you told me beforehand that you were going to be introducing.
I'm a loose cannon. I'm a maverick. I mean, I've got this far in life by just screaming. Like, why would I stop? Like, it's done me pretty well. If things don't go my way, I scream, and eventually they go my way.
Sounds troubling for many reasons. Oh, we've got a comment already. Grommy, welcome to the show. Wrestling games? Maybe
from him, not from me, but we'll see. But
you got to tease him. You got to give him a reason.
I see.
To keep
Sorry.
watching.
Maybe wrestling games from me. Who knows? But no. So we're doing top 5 video games of all time. This seems vague, I know.
Wait. I thought we were doing favorites.
Favorites. That's what I meant. Like top in my head. My favorite are the top in my head. Do you know what I mean? So these are games that it's pretty broad, but me at least, I've chosen games that literally have altered my life. And I've also omitted games that we talked about a lot before. So I'll throw it out there right now, like Pokemon Crystal would normally be in here. It's not, because we've done a Pokemon episode in the past. Go back and watch that or listen to that if you want to hear me talk about that in detail. Same with a couple of Dreamcast games here and there, or a couple of sort of just stuff that we talked about previously. So I've tried to break new ground with my choices here. I don't know if you've done the same, Max. No, Max is just going to go over the same old shit. So if you're not watching this live and it's on Spotify, or you're watching back on YouTube, just keep clicking that 15 seconds in the future button when Max is talking until it gets back to me.
They do anyway. You don't need to give them that tip.
I was literally doing that. I was listening to one of our old episodes and I was just skipping past yours because I wanted to hear myself. I wanted to know what my picks were because I couldn't.
Doesn't that raise alarm bells for you?
Not me, just people around me.
All right then, cool.
Just the people who love me. Or try to.
Try to. Very hard. No, I think that's fair. Because I kept thinking that, like, we've done this episode. And I don't know if it was like we were on Game Till 5 or we've just spoken about the same games again and again. I don't know, but like it's a fun one to put together. We got clips as well to be talking about, to showcase what we like and what's good about it instead of us describing through words. And to the Game Till 5 girls, we're not stepping on your toes. We're dying. We are, but like, let me give them a reason. We're dying. We've got 2 episodes left, so we're going down memory lane, and we're picking our personal favorites. We're logging what we like, and that's the long and short of it. So suck it.
Exactly. I listened to a bit of Game Till 5 the other day. I hadn't listened to it in ages, and I enjoyed it. So if you're listening to this, girls, well done.
Yeah, and people who are sick of me and Jesse, go check it out.
It's like us, but games and girls. Sounds brilliant, actually. That's a really good sell.
Why are you guys here? Jesus. It's like Max and Jesse, but with tits. That's what we like to say. Right.
We've been preparing for this so long. I've nearly run out of my coffee already, and we're only 5 minutes into the show.
Apologies, what are you going to do, my friend? Not a lot, because it's your turn to go first.
Jesus. Right, just jump right in there, shall we? What is first? I gave you a list, but I didn't give you an order, and there's no order really, so I don't mind whatever you've
I
you've
just
done.
wrote them in the order that you gave them to me. So here we go.
Okay, we're starting with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 on the PlayStation 1. This game literally has, as you can probably see behind me, for people who are on the YouTubes or whatever else we stream on, I don't know. There's two skateboards. It's mirrored, right? So I'm pointing this way. Two skateboards on the wall behind me that literally were in Tony Hawk games, and I bought for that reason. I started skating because of this game. The way I dress is because of this game. My music taste is because of this game. It has literally shaped my teenagehood. I started playing this when I was like 10 years old or something. And I didn't even own Tony Hawk's 2. I had it at my stepbrother's house. So I would go and visit my dad every other weekend. And he had this on the PlayStation 1. And that's the only time I would ever get to play it. And I would watch it and play it. Jamie Thomas was my favorite character. He, I think it was either this game or the one before, where he's in a hoodie that's up, a black hoodie, a Black Zero hoodie. And I was like, I just want to be him. I want to skate. I want to dress like that. And then I discovered Rodney Mullen through this game as well, who became one of my favorite skaters of all time. And I was like, he's awesome. Because you unlock the videos at the end of the real life skating. So you're playing this in England, right? You don't see skateboarding on the street, or you didn't back then. Like, it just wasn't something people did until this game came out. And you were like, oh my God, this game's amazing. And then you got to the end and you saw real life people doing that shit. And it was like, holy fuck. Like, that's insane. That can actually be done in real life. And I made my parents get me a skateboard for Christmas, I think it was. I got a skateboard. And I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. So, like, to just ollie, to like jump in the air with the skateboard, you just press X, right? Piece of piss. So I went out Christmas Day on my skateboard and just went ass over tits, son, like straight away. And I was like scared of my skateboard for ages. But Crommy, who I know is tuned in right now, and our friend Josh as well, the three of us just used to go out together skateboarding all the time. And it was awesome. And it was all because of this game that I got into skateboarding, the soundtrack, literally all the punk music that we love, and we may be moving into a bit more after the death of this show, who knows, is all my love of that sort of music is all from the soundtrack of this game. All the clothes I own are skateboard branded, and they're all brands that featured in this game. It showed a lifestyle to me that I was, you know what I mean? I was 10, 11 years old. I'd never really felt like I fitted in anywhere. This showed me a scene and a world that I just felt like I belonged in. I was like, yes, that's me. Everything about this is me. And it still is now. I'm 31 years old and I still dress like that. I still skateboard. I still listen to that music. Completely changed my life. Love the whole Tony Hawk franchise. Is literally life-changing.
Amazing description. And 100% correct of just like, this was the game for people like us who weren't into, I don't know if football were popular at this time, but you know, those kind of games, this was like for us, and it allowed us to kind of go, oh, so this is stuff I can be into. Like, I'm not weird for liking wrestling and skateboarding and punk rock and all this kind of stuff. It made it more mainstream, and especially during this time when it came out, this is when it did start getting popular. And it kind of gave us a little thing to hang our hat on. And that's the most important thing as well. And as you say, it's, you know, God bless us, we're 30 years old. And all we did last summer was skateboard. Tony Hawk's 2 came out. We bought it again. When I was out skating, I'd be listening to the same soundtrack and having a great old time. Yeah,
it's amazing. I literally believe that the only reason skateboarding is at all popular in Britain is because of Tony Hawk games.
Yeah,
because it certainly wasn't. I mean, it was a second wave in America because they'd already had the 80s boom of vert skating and your Rodney Mullins and your Steve Caballeros and people like that, and your Tony Hawks. He was an 80s star of like all the vert stuff and the flat ground stuff. But I feel like these games, in America, it brought a second wave, and your popsicle decks, which to the uninitiated are the decks that are lipped either side, which is your standard popular board you would see nowadays. That's very much a 90s invention that became popular because of these games.
Yeah.
America got the second wave of skateboarding, but England, I think, or Britain got into skateboarding only because of the popularity of this game.
Yeah, completely. And it stayed within the culture as well. It's so great after Tony Hawk 1 and 2, the remastered, came out. It's been so great just seeing so many people holding skateboards or walking around with skateboards and like just learning. And you could tell they're learning because like you can see the underside of their deck and it's not that scratched up and all of this kind of stuff. And it's them getting a love for it based off of, you know, a third wave, if you will, of these PS4 remakes that have come in. And it's so cool to see as old men going, yeah, welcome children.
Yeah, totally.
Good to have you.
Do you want me to sound like a real fucking old man, right? Yes. So I don't know if this is a Cheltenham thing or if you noticed it as well. But there's an awful lot of girls skateboarding now. They just weren't around when we were kids. And and sort of, I know it's like, it makes me sound like such a prick, but like, I sort of saw a girl skateboarding the other day through town and she did a kickflip, right? While she was skating along. It's like, why the fuck shouldn't she do a kickflip? Everyone, you know, like it's a standard thing to do a kickflip. But for some reason, because a girl did it, there was this moment where I just went, bloody hell, well done. You know what I mean?
Quality.
I was just, you just don't like
no,
why? You just don't see them, or you didn't when we were kids. You didn't see girls on skateboards. You see them a lot more now, and it's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to make that point as well, that when we were growing up, it was just the guys. It was the guys that liked the wrestling. It was the guys that liked the, and I know we're going to get emails of like, I liked it. Like, yes, you're an exception. Well done. We wish we could have hung out with you. But now, as you say, like I'm seeing girls aged like 10 all the way up to like 16 and so carrying boards and riding and doing all this kind of stuff. And you're right. It's so cool to see. And it shouldn't be a big deal, but it is. It's a very cool. Male-closed sport. Always has been.
Yeah.
And it's nice to kind of see it opening up and like with more positive influences. The Brazilian skater in the new Tony Hawk's game, Leticia something or other.
Fonte or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. She's an X Games gold medalist, incredibly talented, like one of the best skaters going today. And having female role models and influences like that is probably what has led to this kind of boom and insurgence, which I welcome wholeheartedly.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to repeat myself, but this game and the remakes that came out last year, I think have sort of have given the kids of today a lease on life that we had back then with these original games. Of like they're seeing the clothes, they're seeing characters and a sort of lifestyle and music in these games that they've never seen before. And it's like, that is me, that's my identity. And it's easy to be, it's easy to maintain when it's in you. I don't know what it is, but like it's cool, man. There's a little boy who lives on my street, man, who's like, he must be 8 years old or something like that, and I've never spoken to him. I sort of wave to his dad every now and again, but the kid clearly dresses like he plays Tony Hawk, do you know what I mean? And he's out there on his skateboard in the street every day, just skating up and down like I did when I was a kid, and it warms my heart. It's awesome. Adopt him, Jesse. Adopt him as your own. I will. Well, teach the dad. Well, so the dad has seen me sort of go out on my skateboard, and he keeps saying, "Oh," because he goes down to the skate parks with his kid, and he goes on his BMX. I've no idea if he actually does anything on his BMX or if he just sort of hangs out. But he's like, "Oh, you should come down and join us." And it's like, "Oh, that's nice," but he hasn't properly invited me yet, and it might be a bit weird, just like me, him, and his child. Uncle Jesse. Yeah, exactly. But we'll see. Maybe he will. We have Pacifico Clara for Steve's request. Oh, Steve is asking what Max is drinking. Pacifico, is that a lager? Yeah. Yes, it's a Mexican lager. Cerveza for you cultured people. Ah, very nice. I was drinking coffee, if you're interested, Steve. Well, welcome, Steve. Thanks for joining. Yeah, great. And also, imagine being a kid when Tony Hawk's comes out, you get into skating, lockdown's happening. So you're just like, these kids have got it made. Yeah, and Tony Hawk came out in the summer last year, right? And it was a beautiful summer. So it was really sunny. There's fuck all people out, plenty of room to skate, plenty of room to learn and fall off without anyone seeing you, which is very, very important when you're a teenager. You do not want people to see you when you fall off. It's very important. Even now, really. I remember like I was skating through London and I just wasn't paying attention and my wheel just hit a lip and I stacked it. And I just felt so embarrassed. Yeah. I just wanted to say to everyone, like, it's fine. Yeah.
I can stay on it. It's fine. I think I've cracked my shoulder, but it's fine.
It is, yeah. I came off a few months ago, and and it was the same thing. I think I was crossing the road, and there was no cars, so I just went across the road on my skateboard, and the curb was a little bit higher than I anticipated, and my wheel hit it, and I came off as well. But there was only one girl that saw me as she was crossing the road in the opposite direction. But God bless her, she just kept her eyes down and carried on walking. Do you know what I mean? Which is kind of worse. Yeah. But that's kind of worse because it's like, I know that you're embarrassed for me. I can tell that you're really...
Acknowledge me.
You don't even know me and you're ashamed of me.
We know that feeling all too well. So my pick is in a similar vein. I wanted to kind of get the sporty ones out of the way first.
Okay.
People who know me know that this is one of my favorite games. It's Tony Hawk, but without wheels.
Yeah, it kind of is, but with a racing element, which is really cool.
A racing element as well. The SSX franchise, for people who don't know, is snowboarding. And there were 2 games before this, which were fairly successful, but they were very kind of linear in their gameplay and what they kind of did. Whereas when Tricky came out, it was a lot more... It felt into that early 2000s style of being like a little bit more... not punky, but like extreme sports were cool. You can do like crazy shit and tricks and stuff. The Garibaldi first one.
So it felt like to me. So you had the original game, which was a pretty straight up realistic snowboarding game, and then this is that game, but having taken acid.
Yeah, exactly. You can do tricks that when you go snowboarding, you're like, I can do whatever. Just Marty just did that. And then a 6-year-old rides over your corpse as you lie there in pain. That's pretty much how it works. And you can't get air like that just normally. But it was so cool because, again, with the Tony Hawk element of that extreme sports, you could customize your boards. All the characters were larger than life. The tracks were just insane. And the characters themselves had such an identity and were voiced by fantastic actors that really just kind of got you into it. Yeah, you had...
Eddie was voiced by David Arquette.
Yeah.
Macy Gray was a character.
Huge at the time.
Yeah. Jim Rose did a character called Simon. Jim Rose is massive in the circus world. So are you familiar with the Circus of Horrors?
No. Educate me.
Okay. So the Circus of Horrors is a British touring circus for adults, which is full of like weird shit. It's like body modification, BDSM style, crazy circus, like for adults. And there's a lot of dwarfs. There's a lot of genital sort of twisting and stuff like that. Jim Rose basically runs the American version of that. The Jim Rose Circus is just this macabre sort of vaudeville circus for grown-ups, sort of depraved and awesome in all the best ways. And he did one of our favorite characters, Simon, his voice. And but he's founded this circus. And so in the circus world, he's a very respected entrepreneur sort of character. He's really cool.
Excellent. And Simon's a great character. Like a long neck goose. And it's so fun to play. I think there's only like 10 levels in turn. But you can either do a race or you can do a tricky mode. And tricky is where you max out your bar and it allows you to do crazy, insane tricks and stunts. And then the Run DMC Tricky song plays in the background when you do it and you feel really cool. And the commentator's fantastic. There's just so much good stuff to this game.
All the music on the soundtrack, by the way, is all done by Mixmaster Mike, which is fucking awesome as well. Yeah,
who you can unlock as a character. Yes. Another little fact that makes this game cool. It's a very, I wouldn't say niche because like a lot of people liked it, but the style of what it produced again is around that Tony Hawk style of enjoyment. And there's like 10 levels in total, and I could play this again and again. Maybe I'm biased because this is the one game that if I have to challenge death for my life, I will pick this game. And
you are crazy good at this game. Yeah, it's your game. Sort of, it's your Tony Hawk to me, isn't it? Like I'm a bit autistic with Tony Hawk, and you're like that with this game.
No one can touch you on Tony Hawk, and no one can touch me on SSX Tricky. And it's a beautiful thing to kind of have. I love Garibaldi. Like this is the opening level, and it's just insane for how it kind of kicks off. Tokyo Megaplex as well is
you like that one. That's the only one that's lapped, isn't it? in the races.
Yeah. And I'd love for them to they've kind of left the SSX franchise alone now, but it would be fantastic if they revisited it. Like, they came out with the SSX game when we were living together. So like 2012 was the last SSX game that came out, nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, but they went realistic again. It felt like with that game.
They did.
You know
they merged it, so they added characters like Moby, Zoe, the Japanese girl Kia, whatever her name was, and they kind of added those people in, but as you said, from a realistic standpoint. And then they introduced some tricky elements. But it wasn't the same ridiculousness that.
No, you want it to just be crazy like this. Like, you just want it to be absolutely mental and unbelievable. That was completely the selling point of this.
Yeah, like that trick there is just insane. But I would wish that they would just do a remake of this. I know this is the trend at the moment for our generation of just like, well, just remake our favorites, remake them pretty so we can understand them.
Yeah, but
I still think this game holds up. But they sell exactly because we are the people with the money now. Like, we're in that sweet spot where it's like, oh, we don't really have kids. We don't really have responsibility.
We don't really have kids.
Not any that we pay attention to anyway. So we can invest our money in this shite, which just give me all my old games. Every game that me and Jesse are going to mention, just give us the remake. We've already had Tony Hawk, and now we need Tricky as we kind of go forward. So,
but I'm not content. I need more Tony Hawk now. So they remade Tony Hawk 1 and 2. I need 3 and 4. I need Tony Hawk Underground. I want you to remake it all for me, bitch.
Never satisfied. We're never going to be satisfied as long as we go. But yeah, so many happy memories of uni playing this game on my little PS2.
Yeah, I've still got my PS2 set up here, and I've got Tricky. We'll have a game next time you come round. Yeah.
Yes, please. That would be delightful. And hopefully I win, because I've talked a big game now. So if I don't win,
we'll live stream it.
Yeah. Oh, God, no. So that's my number 4, SSX Tricky on the old PS2.
God, delightful choice.
Thank you, my friend. And so I'm just clicking buttons.
Sorry, how was your takeaway, by the way? Have you finished it now?
Very nice. No, I'm still going. You'll see my head just kind of dip down, like giving some pleasure. Yeah. On the theme of Extreme Sports, what about Matt Hoffman? Yes, Matt Hoffman BMX. Bless my mother. When Tony Hawk came out and it was like the big popular game, I was talking about it for ages, and I was like, oh, I really want it. And she went to Safeway one day in Tewkesbury. And she went in and she's like, oh, I picked up one of those extreme sports games you like for the PS1. I was like, yes, I got Tony Hawk. And she handed me Matt Hoffman's BMX.
Oh, it's like that bit of The Simpsons when Marge buys Bart the golfing game.
Instead of Bloodstorm, because that's what he wants. But honestly, I was like, oh, thank. She bought me that, and it was like a surfing game. It was like the
Shaun Ryder. Was it Shaun Ryder's? Yeah. So these are all the games that were made because Tony Hawk was so popular. So they were like, holy shit, we just took a famous skateboarder, put his name on it, and it sold really well. Let's do the same with surfing and BMXing and take like the big names from that. Which was a nice idea, but none of them took off like Tony Hawk did. Yeah,
but to her credit, I love that Matt Hoffman game.
It was a good game, the Matt Hoffman game.
It was a good game. I had a lot of fun. I was very resentful for the first hour. I'm not fucking Ollie, am I?
I must have shown you Razor Freestyle, which is the mini scooter game on the PlayStation 1 that I spent a lot of my childhood playing. And that had a really good soundtrack. It was only like Sloppy Meat Eaters. Yeah. So there's a band called Sloppy Meat Eaters on the soundtrack who are awesome. If anyone's into their pop punk, go and check them out. They're a very unknown but awesome band who are long gone now, but from Orange County, I think. Mm-hmm. They're really good. There's a few other bands, but yeah, check out that soundtrack. Anyone who likes pop punk, because it's all niche garage punk, but it's really good. But yeah, that was a mad game. That was again made because of the success of the Tony Hawk games.
Yeah, if it's got wheels, let's check it on a game and see what happens.
Exactly. You have selected Power Drive.
An aggressive inline. I don't remember aggressive inline. But again, wheels, everything.
Yeah. Jet Set Radio would be an honourable mention. It's not in my list, but it very nearly was as one of my favourite games of all time. And that was definitely influenced by all this as well. That was a rollerblading game that they put in like graffiti and stuff as well. Really good game on the Dreamcast. It's on Steam now as well, if anyone hasn't played that and likes their skateboardy/rollerblading games. It's fucking awesome.
Exactly. Also, everyone watching, hi, by the way. This isn't just me and Jesse. Like, if you've got favorite video games, chuck them in the chat. We'd be interested to hear your favorites as well. So chuck those in the comments, please, and thank you. But Jesse, number 3.
Grand Theft Auto 3. Number 3. We worked that well. So there's obviously been better GTA games since. San Andreas was an incredible game. That comes to mind in particular. GTA 4 was pretty good. GTA 5 was amazing. And I know it's been around so long now that we've sort of got used to it. But GTA 5 is seriously an incredible achievement in technology, really. When you think how vast that map is, the fact that they could run that online thing relatively smoothly, the story, and just it's incredible. But it all what are you laughing at?
Steve's still bitter. I was like, what's everyone's favorite games? And Steve just goes, not Breath of the Wild. Fuck that game.
Steve hates Breath of the Wild. It's not in my list. It's not on my all-time game, but it is awesome. So fuck you. And I love that Steve is clearly still playing it. So he keeps saying how much he hates it, and then he puts messages in our little WhatsApp chat like, "Oh yeah, and the rain's a dick," and it's like, well, yeah, but like clearly you're still having a go, so it must be something that keeps drawing you back, my friend. But anyway, GTA 3 was the first sort of 3D sandbox game that I ever played, and holy shit, did it change my life! I played it at my mum's cousin's house for the first time when I was like 11. So we'd gone to visit my mum's cousin, who she hadn't seen since she was a kid. And so it was like, oh, we've got some catching up to do. Jesse, just go and play his PS2. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went off and started playing it. And he had this game. I'm way too young to be playing it, but I started playing it. And I was like, Jesus, like I had never felt so free in a video game, if that makes sense. Like it was like I had this whole city in front of me. And I was like, fuck, I can go wherever I want. I can beat up whoever I want. I can do what I want. These missions are cool. But I just quite enjoy running around. And then you find out about the cheats, which as a kid, like the cheats change your life, right? It's like, oh my God. So I can get all these weapons. I can sort of keep regenerating my health. It's awesome. I could generate these crazy cars. I've never felt so in control of a world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely. It was the first of its kind, especially this one, because your GTA 1 and your GTA 2s was still very much that top-down view, and then this just blew the whole thing open. Like, I honestly can't think in my head of a game that came before this.
No.
That gave you that freedom and look at what you're doing. Drive around, like you say, beat up whoever you want, do these missions, do that. It's
amazing. To you kids, it looks so standard now. But imagine seeing this for the first time, a 3D world where you can just go anywhere. It's just no limits, really. It was just amazing. Yes, Crommy. Yeah, the Banshee was an amazing car. I remember you could break into like the car lot to get it out, smash the window of the car place to get the Banshee out. So good.
Yeah, exactly. How many hookers did you bang from Steve? Keeping it classy.
Oh, as many as I could find.
And again, as kids, like, obviously it was fucked up and we shouldn't have been playing it. But then you're like, oh, I'm going to have sex with a hooker. All it was this car just going like...
Yeah. And then you'd move heaven and earth to try and get the camera around so you could actually see. You're like, oh, I might see some sex in this car. But they hadn't done the graphics of that. They're just sitting there. They're just sitting in the car whilst it's like shaking.
Disappointed.
Like nothing's happening. And then obviously you kill the hooker after she leaves your car to get all your money back. That's standard.
Obviously. And the money she made previously.
Yeah. That's commission.
Commission, exactly. I still think this looks cool. I don't know if this has been upscaled, but it looks pretty sweet. Like, yeah, it's a little bit janky, but
yeah. It's still good. I still play it on Steam every now and again, and I dig it. It's good fun. Surprisingly, once you get the rhythm with the keyboard, it's surprisingly fun. Sort of, it feels like I really like computer games when you get really good at the keyboard as opposed to a controller, because it kind of feels like you're playing an instrument. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're just sort of, and it's all going smoothly, and you're like, "This is awesome." This is how I feel when I play Abe's Exodus, because I'm really good at that on the keyboard. And it's just like, oh, this is beautiful. I'm jumping over all the gaps. I'm not missing anything. This is poetry in motion.
I know we said about remaking games, and GTA 3 would be kind of cool, but it's a lot of the same worlds that we already know. The GTA that they need to remake was the GTA London, which came out on PC or PlayStation 1, whatever it was. Might have just been PC when it came out.
Yeah.
That game
It was on PS1 as well, because I had it on PS1. But yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, if they made a GTA, today's standard GTA, so think GTA 5 with the graphics and the way it looks and everything, and put it in London, fuck, that'd be awesome. Maybe it would only appeal to people like us who actually know London. But like, it's just the idea of it. Like, London is smaller than the GTA 5 map, like in real life. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So they could do it, and oh man, it would be so cool to go visit real places in London in that game and just cause shit.
And blow shit up, exactly. Yeah, I can't say enough about this game. It would always just be, again, we were too young to play it, but then we continued playing it, and you would just try and do crazy shit. Like, I don't know what that plane's doing in the middle. It's about to go 9/11 someone.
Funnily enough, they were going to put planes in this game and then didn't last minute because of 9/11. They took them out. So that's why you can't fly planes in this game.
Fun fact. Was Vice City right after this?
Yes, it was the next game.
Vice City. Now that's a game.
That was good, but I kind of didn't like... Again, obviously, we're used to it now. But in GTA 3, you were a silent protagonist. So, like, your character didn't talk and didn't really have a personality. You just did what you were told. And I kind of preferred it. Suddenly in Vice City, your character spoke and had a personality and was like wisecracking and stuff like that. And it was like, I didn't want that. I was like, no, I don't like that, because I like using my imagination with games like this. Do you know what I mean? It's like I can be who I want to be in this game. And that's fair. This is the Banshee, I think, that Cromie was on about, that this guy's in now, the car that he's in now.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah, it's a Banshee.
Yeah.
Good stuff, but that artwork and stuff, and Jesse.
So good. And Steve said earlier San Andreas is his favorite, and I would agree. Like, if I was to go back to a GTA game, I would go back to San Andreas now. It is a better game, and and the size of that map is amazing. But this game just gave me those, the first time you see a game like that. Do you know what I mean? It hits you in the face way more.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I remember actually completing this one. Like, there's very rare GTA games that I've actually completed and done stuff with. And I think that's one of them where I've actually made the effort and gone through and completed it. GTA 5 is another one. I love that we're still playing GTA 5. Like, me, Jesse, and our friend Matt, we have little weekends where we play golf together, and it's been great during lockdown.
That's so old. We go on GTA and all we do is play golf. We are getting so old.
Literally, we play tennis and golf.
Yeah. And we love it. We have such a lovely time.
Driving past her, Chris just like, good day. Off to the golf course. Sorry. Can't
I think that it wasn't GTA, was it? We played everybody's golf together, but I had an absolute nightmare on one of the courses, and the profile picture of our group chat is still the +25 that I finished that round with. It haunts me every time I have a look at it.
It'll stay that way for a very long time. Excellent pick, my friend. Mine, coming in at number 2 for favorite video games of all time, is a lesser known ditty from the PC days, Windows 1998. This was my earliest memory of playing a video game, and a game that I could play properly and complete well. Is Jazz Jackrabbit, and I adore this game with all my heart. You're basically this intergalactic bunny, and you are mad about turtles for some reason.
Is this the green rabbit?
It is the green rabbit, and in Jazz Jackrabbit 2 specifically, you can kind of do co-op play with a red rabbit called Spaz. So it was Jazz and Spaz that kind of came, and it's very typical kind of 90s platformer, where, as you can see, just jump, shoot, do all this kind of stuff, kill the turtles, rescue the princess from the turtles, if I remember correctly. Lovely. Pretty standard stuff. And I just think the comedy in it was so good. Again, it just appealed to what would later become my personality. Or maybe this game caused my personality. I don't really know, but having a intergalactic green bunny with a bandana and a best mate called Spaz, which, funny enough, Jesse is my Spaz to my Jazz.
I'll always be the Spaz to your Jazz.
I think this was a heavy influence on how my life was going to turn out. And I remember the big CRT monitor of the Windows 95 computer that we had. All you had was Windows Encyclopedia that you could go on. I had Jazz Jack Rabbit and then some other random games. And I'd spend hours and hours on this shit, just going around and having the best time in the world. Piss off, advert, no one cares.
Lady. So I never played the Jazz Jack Rabbit games, but I had a Jazz Jack Rabbit toy.
Did you? I didn't know this.
And I never knew what it was until I met you, and you showed me this Jazz Jack Rabbit game that you played when you were a kid. And I was like, holy fuck. So I had a little action figure of a green rabbit, and it was this. It was clearly Jazz Jack Rabbit from this game. I just had no idea what it was. And I just used to play with it when I was a kid. God knows where it came from. I think a car boot sale or something. Like,
it's so niche.
Yeah, really random. I'll see if I can find a picture of it, because surely someone else must have had a Jazz Jack Rabbit toy. But
I would love one now. Hey, Ned, thanks for coming on. Did I catch anything in time? That's a very deep question, really.
What does that mean? Is that like...
What does that mean?
is he talking...
Did I catch anything in time? I hope so. Your choices, Wind Waker or Okami. Solid choices. I've never played Okami.
Okami? No, neither have I. Is that the one with the purple chick?
I think it's
purple haired girl.
The dog on... Oh, wait, no, that's...
No, that's a different one. I'm confused.
Help us. What's Okami? We know of it, but it's scaring us. So check down the comments. Also, the text on this was awful. Like, who the shit you could get away with in the 90s for these early games. This blue bunny queen, she was a nightmare to deal with.
Is she a boss?
Yeah, this is like a middle kind of level boss. But this style of artwork of the early 90s or late 90s PC games is just so good. Like
color, man. It's like they discovered how to use color in video games and went, fuck it, let's do all the color. They just put like the brightest games you've ever seen in your life.
Okami is the one with the dog with the anus.
Yes, thank you.
Didn't know there was an anus involved. But,
I don't. I've played some of that game and really enjoyed it. I've got it on the Switch because they re-released it on the Switch store, and I downloaded it and played it. And I did enjoy it. It had a very Ocarina of Time feel about it.
Yes, which, if that's what everyone... No one cares, Lacoste. Why are you being a dick? Just want to show people spazzy rabbits. But I would totally get a Jazz Jack Rabbit tattoo on my face.
I think you should.
Yeah, cool.
And I'll get Spaz.
You'll get Spaz. And that would be the dream. That would be the absolute dream. So if people have not played, I'm sure it must be easy to pick this up on like GOG or even maybe Steam will have it, or you could probably just pick up an emulator for absolutely nothing. If you like old kind of platformy games and this art style, because I still think this looks pretty damn cool for 1998 in terms of what they were putting out there. It's challenging, as all 90s platformers are, where you will be on that first level until the day you die. And you can do co-op. The co-op on this is fantastic. With as we've mentioned, you can either be Jazz or you can be Spaz, and it says a lot about you as a person, depending on who you pick.
Awesome. I love it.
I feel like this would have been perfect for you as a child, Jesse. Like Sonic got
I'm annoyed I never knew it.
Before Jazz did.
Yeah,
but it's pretty much Sonic, but without the speed. But I just realized that he's a hare and he's fighting turtles.
There you go. Yeah, see, it's
25 years of my life. Fucking hell. Dark times. Okay, so that's my number 2. Any excuse to talk about Jazz Jack Rabbit, as Jesse said, these are games that kind of influenced us and stuck with us as we grew up. And I think that's a perfect example.
Yes, it is.
So, on to number 1 for you.
You could definitely tell what era we grew up in, can't you, based on these picks? And...
No, anyone who knows us or has listened to the podcast, the next 2 are not shocks, so apologies, people. We'll try and give you some new stuff if we can. And that's up there my top, maybe Hit and Run. Simpsons Hit and Run.
Simpsons Hit and Run. I recently obtained that game, having never owned it. So
really?
I'm looking forward. Yeah, never owned it, but a friend was checking out a bunch of PS2 games, and I was like, oh, I'll take them off your hands. And one of them was Simpsons Hit and Run. So I'm going to give that a go at some point, maybe this weekend.
Have you never actually played it then?
Never played it. I've seen footage of it, and I know it's a game that I would love, but never got around to actually playing it.
You're going to get obsessed. Yeah. Talk to me this weekend.
Just Simpsons GTA, as far as I can tell, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much
That's perfect.
That's all you need. So at Jesse's number 1 slot, no surprise,
Sonic 3 and Knuckles from the Sega Mega Drive, the Sega Genesis, to our North American friends. Sonic has always been one of my favorite franchises in video games. Being a Sonic fan, you put up with a lot of shit, right? There is some terrible games. The fan base gets on my nerves as well. But there's some gold out there, especially the 90s Sonic games on Mega Drive and Dreamcast. There was some incredible games on there as well. But this game just blew my tits off. So I'd already played Sonic 2, was the first Sonic game I played. I went back and played Sonic 1. Then Sonic 3. Then Sonic and Knuckles came out. And Sonic and Knuckles, the cartridge that you got, came with an extra slot on the top. And you could put Sonic 3 in that to make this Sonic 3 and Knuckles game, which basically gave you 16 levels, which was a huge amount of levels at the time. And it gave you the option to play as Knuckles, which was exciting at the time, because in Sonic 3, Knuckles was a bad guy. He was one of your enemies, and you couldn't play as him. You just saw him, and it was like, oh, he looks really cool, but he's just a bad guy. And then all of a sudden, you can fucking beat him in this game. And it was like, oh my God. And he can glide, and he can climb up walls. And that was awesome. And it just, oh man, like we were talking about the colors. Look how much they're like wanking over the colors in this game. Because they're like, yeah, we could just put all the colors in this game. It still looks good to me now. I don't know if that's nostalgia talking, but I think for a 2D platformer, it looks just as good, if not better, than any 2D games that come out nowadays. And even this, so this is a special level that they do, the bonus level to get the Chaos Emeralds. But even the 3D of this looks awesome. This is on a 32-bit console. I think it's an incredible achievement. The soundtrack is awesome. And the reason that this game is very rarely re-released is because some of the music was written by Michael Jackson. And then Michael Jackson got in trouble for allegedly touching little boys. And so they were like, okay, we don't want Michael Jackson's name in the credits. So they removed Michael Jackson's name from the credits, despite the fact that he'd written a lot of music for this game. And that has since been a long legal dispute with the Jackson estate and Sega, which is why when re-releases come of Sega games and stuff, Sonic 3 is very rarely included because it's on the Sonic 3 part of Sonic 3 and Knuckles that the Michael Jackson music is. That's an interesting fact for you. But it's just a vast game. The idea that you could plug 2 games in to make a super game to a child is like just absolutely insane. It looks beautiful. Sonic is one of my favorite franchises, and this is the game that really cemented it for me, I think. Just incredible levels. The speed blew my tits off. Like, it's like you were saying, Jazz Jaguar without the speed, but I need the speed, Max. Like, it's just the fastness just is amazing. I've never seen anything so fast in my life, and I've been chasing that high ever since.
He really has. That's not an exaggeration. Like, his life is miserable. Yeah. The thing that confused me when I was writing this down and putting like the little, tagline here is, why is it called Sonic 3 and Knuckles?
Well, so Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles are 2 different games, right? So Sonic 3 came out, which Knuckles was the bad guy in, not a playable character. You had 8 levels. That's interesting. I didn't know that. They switched to Gary Glitter, who wrote some of the music, who obviously did nothing wrong and is absolutely fine.
They just made a lot of terrible choices. Whoever was like the king of pedo picker out.
Yeah, Sega just do generally, don't they? They make bad choices with their games. Yeah. So Sonic 3 and Knuckles was supposed to be one game, but they ran out of time in development. So they released Sonic 3, which was essentially the first half of the game. And then they released Sonic and Knuckles afterwards. And it was weird because Sonic 3 introduced a save function, which wasn't in any other Sonic games. It was like, oh my God. So when we turn off the console and we turn it back on, it remembers what level you were on. That's insane. And then Sonic and Knuckles came out, and it didn't have that, even though Sonic and Knuckles came out after, which was really weird. Again, another Sega being Sega. But then you could plug them in together, and it would save your file. But yeah, that's why. So it was 2 separate games, then you put them together. It is essentially adding Knuckles as a playable character and all the Sonic and Knuckles games. But Add Knuckles has become a bit of a meme now. Like, it's a cliche with Sonic stuff. It's like, if something's shit in the Sonic world, there's fuck it, let's add Knuckles and it'll be cool. So like anything, add Knuckles, to the point where Sonic Mania, the amazing sort of fan homage that was made by Christian Whitehead Game Company, which is one of the best Sonic games in years. There's a cheat mode in it called Add Knuckles, where you can just add Knuckles to, like, who follows you like Tails to anything. So you can be Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles and have like 3 Knuckles all running around because it makes things cooler.
Amazing. Jesse with the facts.
There you go.
No question them. Amazing. We knew Sonic would be in there for you. Like, it's your lifeblood and what you do. Love the Minish Gap Legend of Zelda. Yes. The Minish Cap.
What's Minish Gap?
It was a Legend of Zelda game. I think it's Minish Cap instead of Gap. Yeah, the Minish Cap. So it was on Game Boy Advance when it first kind of came out. And it was the Legend of the Four Swords. Very cool game. And I don't think the Zelda games on the handhelds get as much love as they should, but they're really good games.
Yeah.
Is what they do. Yeah. Okay. So Sonic, is this your go-to? Because we've said many times that, like, I've never really got into Sonic because it's too fast for my little eyes. But I love the later ones, like Generations and all that kind of stuff. So
the Dreamcast ones. Did you ever play Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast?
I've watched you play it many times.
So good, just amazing games, and like almost brought in an RPG element, especially in Sonic Adventure, the first one, where you had like areas that you could just hang out in before going into the levels. That was really cool. The chows, where you could like raise your own creatures, like that was awesome. They just brought in some mad shit, but they were really good games, really fast, really cool. But yeah, Sonic's still my go-to. I've got the Mega Drive collection, which is on the Switch. You can buy it. You can get it on all consoles, but I've got it on the Switch. And it's just my go-to. Like, if I'm lying in bed, and I'm not quite ready for bed yet, but I'll pick up the Switch. It's like, yeah, cool. I could just jump on a Sonic game and just play a couple of levels and have a lovely time, and then not sleep because my eyes are just going like that.
He has a problem, folks. I haven't slept in years. Okay, so my number one pick, and I saved a comment. Cromie literally posted a comment before, right at the top of the show, and he was right. Here comes the Shenmue circle jerk. I mean, come on, guys! Like, you've watched our show for long enough now. You know what we love. You know what influences us, and of course, Shenmue is going to be in this discussion.
Interesting though, because I would have gone with Shenmue 1 if it was me.
Interesting. Well, we shall debate then. Shenmue 2 just still sticks out for me because, again, with that GTA feeling of like, oh, look at this open world game that I can do anything, can go anywhere. Like, this was, again, Shenmue, where you can kind of walk around, meet people, explore all of Hong Kong, and just have a great time. I don't know what else new we can say about Shenmue that we haven't said in like 100 other episodes. But it's great. There's the little autistic boy named Rio who's trying to avenge his dad. And he starts off in Japan, gets a job, gets distracted for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Hong Kong to find out more information. Doesn't, gets distracted again by picking up some odd jobs in gambling. Falls into a nasty gambling habit.
Yeah, and playing darts. I remember playing a lot of darts. And he plays darts funny. So when you play darts in Shenmue, it goes first person just for the darts, and you have to press A at the perfect moment for him to throw the dart. But he's doing his hand like that. Whilst he's playing darts. Who plays darts like that? Just walks around like that until he throws it. So Cromie's not happy. Sorry, if we're on a higher plane than you, Cromie, maybe you just need to play the game. I don't think Cromie's ever played Shenmue. He'll be converted if he gives it a go.
And got another comment here.
So niche. Yeah, people doesn't know. So, right. Shenmue, Ninterd. It was on the Sega Dreamcast. There was Shenmue 1, Shenmue 2. They put so much money into making this game. that every single person who owned a Dreamcast would have had to buy it twice just for it to break even. So obviously it went bankrupt. It's just incredible. It's a labor of love. It's so open world. It's like, look at this. It's so ahead of its time. This was like 2001 or something when this came out. And this is Shenmue 2. Shenmue 1 came out in like 2000 or 99. And it just, it's incredible. It just looks amazing. You've got such a vast place to go. It turned me into a complete, like, obsessed with Japanese culture and stuff. It's awesome. But I would go with the first one over the second one because I like the small town feel.
Yeah, it is a lot more kind of enclosed. It's a lot easier to kind of
you feel like you're part of a community in Shenmue.
Yeah, exactly. Oh Jesus, that guy's terrifying. You do get proper invested, and it's the mini games that you get to play. The combat style is amazing in terms of what we've done. Oh man, Mo Temple, I've cleaned your walls so many times.
So a lot of people, to give them a point of reference, the Yakuza games of today are very much considered spiritual successors of Shenmue. Shenmue was Yakuza before Yakuza.
Yes, I think that's the best way to kind of describe it. And Sleeping Dogs as well, to a degree, was GTA meets Shenmue, which is a fantastic way to kind of describe it. And here he is punching a tree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, learning a move. That's when you learn it. So there's a lot of fighting in this game as well.
Strike.
But this game is oddly the biggest criticism of this game nowadays when people go back and play it is that there's a lot of monotonous tasks and it can be a bit boring and repetitive. But to me, it's like meditation.
Yeah.
Like, I play this game and you find yourself doing the same stuff all the time, whether it's learning these fight moves or like you get a job in the first game driving a forklift and you just have to pick up boxes on your forklift and move them into the right place. And you do that for 8 hours a day, every day, and you get 50 yen per box or whatever. And that is just therapeutic to me. I don't know. I just like that repetitive, chilled out thing. And it's probably a bit of nostalgia as well, because I did it a lot when I was a kid. But it's just chill. I like it.
Yeah, we won't show. I'm just going to bring up the job element. just to show the repetitive nature of it.
Oh, this is in Shenmue 2 when you're not on the forklift, you're helping a man carry boxes from one side to the next, which is a bit weird. Why would you ever do this as a job? Like, just
and they move like 6 crates in a full day's worth of work, and they're like, woo! And then the problem with this place is right outside of this work is there's just a gambling den right next door to it. So you get your cash.
You lose all your money.
Be saving up to like go and venture down. And you're like, I just put a little bit on black. It's not going to do any harm.
But no, the gambling, it's not even putting it on black. It's like the most simple gambling game in the world. It's called High or Low. And the guy, the dealer, rolls a dice and goes, high or low. And you go, high. Okay. Yeah, and then you just have to roll a higher number than him. That's all it is. You're just rolling dice and you're betting like hundreds of dollars on this.
Yeah. And it's super addictive. And that's how they kind of get you.
This lovely game. Lucky Hit. Would you like to play a game of Lucky Hit?
Would you like to play a game of Lucky Hit? No, you'd like to help our planet, apparently. But yeah, like you guys know how we feel about Shenmue. They did a remastered that came out on PS4 and I presume PS5 now as well. So you can play it again. And
it's always on sale on the PlayStation shop. So if anyone's interested, you can get Shenmue 1 and 2. Yeah, and relive the magic. And the voice acting is appalling, which is good. Like, the voice acting is so bad that it makes you love the game more because it's just comically awful. Like, they clearly ran out of money by the time it came to the English dub, and they were just reading badly translated Japanese stuff, and it's terrible. But it's lovely. That's what makes it so good. Yeah, this guy nailed it.
Yeah, he nailed it. Look at the skills. So much Lucky Hit has been done in our lives. Did I tell you when I went to like this business work event, and they always do like the free giveaways and this kind of stuff, and you enter in little competitions. I walked past this one booth and they had like a little Lucky Hit thing. They didn't call it Lucky Hit, and I wish to this day they'd gone, do you want a game of Lucky Hit? And I would have been like, yes. But they were like,
no,
you got
Lucky Hit.
I know. And I went over and I was like, I know this game very well. So I walked over and she was like, oh, do you need me to explain the rules? And I was like, You're okay. Just give me the disc. Babe, just give me the disc. So she gives me the disc, and I line it up, drop it, get it in the top prize immediately.
Amazing.
It was like a cable. It was like a shitty charging cable or something. But she just had this look on her face of just, oh, no one's won all day. And I was like, this is what I've trained for.
This kid's a hustler.
That was a highlight of my life right now. That's a key story. So that is the top 5 favorite games of myself and dear Jesse Benz. It's what we love. It's what we hold dear in
Any
our lives.
honorable mentions that we can think of? I mentioned Abe's Exodus earlier. I'd certainly throw that in there. That's a PlayStation 1 game that I played a lot. The first Spyro game is very close to me as well. That was one of the first games I owned on PlayStation 1. Again, a lot of them are PlayStation 1. I think a lot of my maturing in video games happened in the PS1 era. Crash Team Racing.
When you could properly play them, right? Like you understood how to do stuff properly.
Yeah, Crash Team Racing, Road Rash on the Mega Drive. Huge fan of, and still am to this day. I still stick that on my Mega Drive sometimes. I love Road Rash, and it's a shame that they haven't re-released that on anything else. What else do we love? We've gone through all of that stuff. Wrestling games, we might as well. Cromie asked for it. Here Comes the Pain is the greatest wrestling game of all time on the PlayStation 2. And it's awesome. Nintendo. Pokemon. He loves Mystery Dungeon. You've talked about this before, Nintendo. And it's not a game that I've ever got around to playing, but I want to.
They are good. They are good. I think Justin needs to get on it. Wrestling games. Here Comes the Pain obviously is the most perfect, but I also love some of the SmackDown versus Raw 2006. First time we get GM mode, or we get a good GM mode. Cool. 2005 was the first, but 06 was better. Fantastic games. For me, Gun is a game I always go on about. It's the original kind of Red Dead. It was open world again, and it was way ahead of its time. You could scout people, kill Chinaman. It was not a politically correct game. It was not.
Chinaman.
That's what they said. They said go scout some Chinaman. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable about this. But what a game, guys! What a game.
If we want to go more contemporary, things like, the amount of hours I put into Stardew Valley suggests to me that it must be one of my favorite games because it's an obscene amount of hours. Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage 2 in particular was easily the best one.
Yes.
And they made a Streets of Rage 4, which came out last year, I think it was, which was surprisingly good. That was really fun.
Very good. We're just too old to have the patience to play it, but incredible.
I did
games.
complete it though. Yeah. Streets of Rage 2 was definitely the best though. Yeah, that's another game I can still just on that Mega Drive collection I was on about. It's just like, I can turn the Switch on. I can play a few rounds of Streets of Rage 2, a few levels before bed. Love that shit. But newer games, Stardew Valley. I'm obsessed with Hitman right now. I don't know if you can put it in favorite of all time, but I've been playing a shit ton of it for about 4 years now since the first one came out. So something's going on there.
he's consistent. Street Fighter as well. Cromie coming with all the good fight games.
I remember I played a lot of Street Fighter with Cromie because he had it, and I do enjoy it. But I've gone back to it lately, and it's fucking hard, man. Street Fighter, you really need to know your combos, and I don't. I just button mash, and I just lose a lot. It's really difficult game, Street Fighter. Tekken, though, is one fighting game I'm very good at. Yeah, that's the one I've always been good at.
Everyone has their one, don't they? Everyone has their one fighting game that they're good at.
What's yours?
Mine is really obscure. It's the Injustice series with all DC characters. Yeah. Love that shit. Really good. Nice. But there's so many games like Pokemon. If you guys watched our Pokemon special, you know how we feel about Gold and Heart Gold, Quicksilver, Crystal, whatever.
Quicksilver.
Whatever. You was the lesser one, Soul Silver. Those were our games, and I didn't put it in this list because I was like, we literally just spoke about it 2 weeks ago, but it would have been in there without a doubt. And there's just so many. And me and Jesse are very much of an era. Nintendo's doing a top 5.
Oh, nice.
Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue. Number 4, Dark Souls. Number 3, Simpsons Hit and Run. Number 2, Zelda Wind Waker. Number 1, Okami. Excellent.
Nice. I need to properly have a go at Okami, I think. Simon Cromie says school rivals. He means rival schools. But
Oh shit, I remember that game.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so Cromie came and visited me about a year ago. Remember that time in the summer where they said, "Oh, you can go in people's houses for a little bit."
Yeah.
So Cromie came round when we were allowed to do that, and we sat up here and played Rival Schools for the first time since we were kids on the PlayStation. And man, it was awesome. It's such a good game. So anyone who doesn't know that, it's a bit niche. It's made by Capcom. And it's a fighting game like Street Fighter, but a bit more 3D, sort of a bit more Tekken-y in its look. But all the characters were just kids from schools, and you would just and you would be two characters, so you could do tag team moves and basically tag each other in and out in it, and just be schools against schools. It was awesome.
It looked amazing as well. Like I love the art style in that game.
Yeah,
it was very good. Can we go in each other's houses now? I'm confused.
No, not yet. Yeah. I think we've got a bit more time.
Is it like May 17th?
I think it's even further than that. So I think on May 17th or whatever it is, we're then allowed, like, there's no, I don't know. Are we?
Yeah,
I think
we're allowed inside pubs on the 17th.
Oh, okay. I haven't really been paying attention to it. I just wait until someone tells me what the rules are. But no, I don't think we can have stranger danger in our house for a while yet.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed if they'll let us do it before the 100th episode. It would be lovely to come and see you and do that in person. That would be
that'd be awesome.
A lovely little thing to do. And speaking of which, we're 2 episodes away from our grand finale, our swan song goodbye to you all after 4 lovely, lovely years. And yeah, these last, I guess next episode is our last proper top 5. And then the episode after that is the goodbye, farewell, circle jerk.
Nice.
So, next week's our last top 5. Scary stuff.
It will be emotional.
Stuff. It will be. But I enjoyed that. It was a nice little trip down memory lane.
It's nice to talk in broad terms because we always avoided the broad top 5s because we thought we got a lot of fucking episodes to fill. So if we just go broad straight away, we'll run out of ideas. But now we've only got a couple left, so fuck it. Just nice and broad, favorite of all time, lovely stuff.
Yeah, and it allows us to kind of talk about what we want and not be kind of shoehorned in.
Exactly.
So, yeah, thanks everyone for tuning into this episode. I can see a lot of you in that little number count there, so we appreciate you joining us. It's always good to have you on the show. And as always, we'll be back next Thursday with episode 99. Until then, please subscribe to the podcast on all major platforms. It's greatly appreciated. We have some lovely, lovely merch going on at the moment, which you can find at gottill5.tmail.com, worldwide shipping for all you foreign lot. And if there's a place that they want to go for all of this in one handy place, it is gottill5.com. God, you're gonna wake up in your sleep in your 70s, still yelling that, aren't you?
I do now.
While your like eyes are blinking from like Sonic and Streets of Rage and stuff.
Yeah. Are you wearing your new NHL jersey, by the way?
Yeah, Buffalo Sabres.
It's very nice.
It is very nice. Very sparkly. They have a very sparkly logo. Quite nice. Don't care for the Buffalo Sabres one bit, but you have a nice jersey.
Yeah, I would never betray my team by wearing another jersey, but hey, that's
many.
You do you.
Many. Yeah. Slapshot Vintage, everyone. If you're in the UK and you want to find a place to pick up hockey jerseys, they're fantastic at what they do.
Very good.
Done.
Dallas Stars, man. Sorry, we won't talk about hockey.
At the end of the show, we could talk about.
Oh man, I'm fucking miserable following Dallas Stars right now. I was like, yeah, I'll get into hockey. That's a nice new sport for me to enjoy. I support a shit football team, so let's support someone who does well in hockey. Not this year, my friends. Although there's still a whisper, like there's a chance they could get in the playoffs, but
it makes it more exciting. Like there's been 2 seasons now where they've played pretty well and they've got through to the playoffs, and it's been good fun. And this year is that kind of like will they, won't they? And sometimes that's more exciting in hockey, where it's like they've been playing shit, but they might just make their way in.
Yeah, it's so close with the Dallas. Yeah, the Dallas Stars. Like we have to suddenly start winning, and the team above us need to lose a couple. It's getting close to the wire. But my football team are in the exact same position with relegation as well. So I'm just living on my nerves at every team I support.
I need to start doing some glory supporting. Just pick a random sport like fencing and pick the best person.
Yeah. Oh, Baron von Hardon. He's the best fencer.
That's his worst season ever. Gets stabbed. His wife leaves him. He gets a drug addiction. Damn Baron von Hardon. But thank you, everyone. We'll be back next week. Let us know if you have any topics in mind that you want us to do. and we'll look forward to kind of seeing you. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Jesse, thank you once again for being the brilliant co-host that you are. It's only just found you guys for a great show. Thank you for tuning in. We have a lot of back catalogued episodes, so please make sure you do go subscribe, check them out. They are on YouTube, or you can find us on Spotify or any of those good places. But that's a wrap, folks. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks for sitting with us for an hour on your Thursday evening. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy the rest of your week, and we shall see you soon. Goodbye and good night.
Mwah.
Mwah, indeed.